Welcome back to the second iteration of my R-Short series, Quick and Dirty Data Exploration. The point of today's video is to drive home the idea of just how important it is to do exploratory data analysis prior to doing data manipulations. You know, answering questions like, what does my data look like? How does my data behave? Is my data messy? Are there any obvious relationships between my data, between my variables? Is going to guide you in what you'll be doing moving forward with your data. You know, if your data is linear, you know, you can do regressions, you can do correlations, but you can't do certain other things. If your data is messy, if you have outliers, you need to take care of those. If you have missing variables, you need to take care of those. If you have obvious relationships within your data, well, then you can go move forward and do, correlations, linear regressions, multiple regressions, those kinds of things. And so to help drive home this point, we're going to be using the Palmer Penguins dataset yet again. So let's go ahead and load up what we need. So first, let's load the tidyverse. Let's load up the Palmer Penguins. Let's load up the Penguins dataset. And let's also load up the psych package. Now, you probably don't have psych installed, so do go ahead and install that before librarying it. So I'm going to run this. And what the psych pack, or one of the functions from the psych package, is called pairs panels. And what it lets you do is do a very high level, kind of low resolution look at many variables in your dataset. So let's take a look at the Penguins dataset just to refamiliarize ourselves with it. So what do we have? We have the species, we have the island, we have the build length in millimeters, the build depth in millimeters, the flipper length in millimeters, the body mass in grams, the sex, and the year of sampling, presumably. Okay, so I'm going to be copying in a function called pairs panels, and in here basically we're looking at all of the variables that the dataset has. So do go ahead and either type that up, or if you go to my blog you can just directly copy it from my website, and or you can also go on my GitHub and get it there. Okay, so this is the plot that it spits out. Let's zoom in a little bit. And so what it does is it gives us a quick graphical representation of each of the different variables, along with how they compare to all of the other variables, a pairwise comparison. And so if we look at, say, flipper length, what do we see? We see something that is maybe roughly multimodal. And if we look at body mass, we see something that is roughly evenly distributed, maybe with a slight skew. But we see that there's a seemingly pretty strong relationship between them of about 0.87. This is a correlation coefficient given to us by the function. Now, if we look at, say, the species, now, if we look at the flipper length and the species, again, we have a pretty strong relationship. And if we look at the body mass in the species, again, we have a pretty strong relationship. So this indicates that maybe these are highly related. So the way we can confirm this is by, first plotting the data. So that's what we'll do. So let's close that and use ggplot to plot these three variables. So, oops, that should be the other way around. So we'll use the penguins. The aesthetic will be body mass in grams. We'll be using, or we'll be doing a scatter plot. So that is geom point. The aesthetic will be, the y will be equal to flipper length in millimeters, and the color will be the other variable, the species. And then, just because I like it, I'll be putting in the classic theme, and let's run that. And what do we see? We see that there is a seemingly very strong relationship between body mass in grams and flipper length, perhaps not surprisingly. And then what do we also see? We see that there seems to be a massive difference in body mass and flipper length between the species. Specifically, the Adderley and the chin strap seem to be more similar, with the Gentoos or Gentoos, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, being more dissimilar in terms of weight and flipper length. So that's it for this video, how to do quick and dirty data exploration. I hope you enjoyed it.